We have new information this evening in the stabbing death of a Jersey City mother and her 2 children. The Hudson County Prosecutor's Office has charged Napoleon Romero Andere with 3 counts of murder and other charges. News 12 New Jersey's Chris Keating outside the apartment complex where it happened on Hutton Street.
The victims were found inside of a first-floor apartment. The window to that apartment, which sits along the sidewalk, was broken and was covered up by police responding to the scene at 1 o'clock this morning. A neighbor to the family, Jay Perrine, says he heard the screaming and looked to see what was happening.
They kind of got everybody up and out to find out what was going on. The police pulled up and they went inside and made contact. Kind of pieced it together, and I was hoping that it wasn't the kids.
However, Jersey City officials say they found 2 children, ages 5 and 9, deceased, along with their mother, also dead inside of the apartment. Authorities say they found a man inside with a self-inflicted stab wound, and he is now in custody. Perrine, who knows the family, says that man is the father of one of those children and is in his 30s.
I don't know what the dispute was about, but all indications were they were a happy family. You know, they went out, they partied, you know, in the summertime they cooked out, it was music. He got up, worked every day.
In Jersey City, I'm Chris Keating, News 12 New Jersey.
8th arrest in connection with the Suffolk teen who was missing for weeks. News 12's Cecilia Dowd is in Central Islip with new details.
An 8th person has now been arrested in connection with a 14-year-old Patchogue girl who was missing for weeks. This is Kevin McDonald, charged with rape and endangering the welfare of a child. He allegedly smoked pot and had sex with the teen in a car in Bellport before driving her to a Bohemia motel. And prosecutors say he admitted to having sex with her. As News 12 has reported, others arrested in connection to the teen, who was discovered in a boat in Islip, are facing charges of sex trafficking, rape, and kidnapping. McDonald's attorney spoke briefly.
He pled not guilty, and that's what he is right now.
Do you believe your client is involved in any sort of sex trafficking ring?
Not at all.
McDonald is being held on $250,000 cash bail or $500,000 bond. His family declined to speak. Reporting from Central Islip, Cecilia Dowd, News 12 Long Island.
Now, an order of protection was issued on behalf of the victim.
Developing information for you tonight as state police are investigating a deadly 2-car crash that happened in the town of Southeast. News 12's Jade Nash joining us now with the latest details on that story.
Tragedy struck in the town of Southeast on Sunday. State police say 1 person was killed in this 2-car crash that happened early in the morning on the southbound side of I-684. The images of the flipped cars made this driver feel disturbed.
I just think that's really unfortunate.
The cause of the crash is unclear and the victim's identity is unknown as the investigation is still underway. However, one man shared his sympathies to the people who may be affected by this accident.
I feel sad for the family, you know, when you lost somebody, it's sad.
State police say the crash caused the left and center lanes of the southbound side to close. It allowed this Brewster ambulance and fire truck to help respond to the incident. As soon as we learn more information about this developing story, we'll be sure to bring it to you right here on News 12. In Southeast, Jade Nash, News 12.
A local immigration attorney saying his clients are now living in fear about possible deportations. News 12 Connecticut's Mark Sudol has more.
They're hiding under their beds, trembling at night. They're having nightmares.
Stanford immigration attorney Phil Burns says his clients are afraid ICE agents will come and take them away. This after reports of an increased presence of immigration and customs enforcement agents here in Connecticut over the weekend.
I think it's going to be worse than people expect. We're going to see some really, as we did 20 years ago, some really bad violations of people's rights, some treating people with extreme indignity.
A senior Trump administration official says immigration authorities made close to 1,200 arrests in just one day across the country, and nearly half of those detained don't have criminal records. Burns says you should know your rights. If ICE approaches you or your home, you have the right to remain silent and refuse to sign anything without speaking to a lawyer. ICE cannot enter your home without a valid warrant signed by a judge.
If the Immigration Service doesn't know what country you're from, it's impossible to deport you.
Burns says statistically 200,000 immigrants have been deported from the U.S. a year. He says it's going to take 55 years or more to deport the last of the 11 to 14 million immigrants who are here.
There's a very good chance it's going to lose steam after 6 months, a year, or 2 years.
Burns says being undocumented is not considered a crime, but a civil offense. But it's considered a crime when an undocumented immigrant who was previously deported re-enters the U.S. without permission. Mark Sudol, News 12, Connecticut.
And first tonight, word from the White House that drone activity around New Jersey last month was for research. Tonight, News 12 New Jersey's Naomi Yane is getting reaction from New Jerseyans and elected officials.
For weeks, New Jerseyans were caught up in drone mania. Our News 12 newsroom was flooded with phone calls and emails of drone sightings across the Garden State. Today, we got an explanation weeks in the making.
After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
It's still unclear what that research was for, but according to the White House press secretary, those flights were cleared by the Federal Aviation Administration, as were others that were being flown privately and for recreation. Now, the mysterious drone activity led to extreme public concern from everyday New Jerseyans, as well as elected officials and law enforcement, all demanding answers from the federal government.
I was thinking, oh man, what's going on now? Like everything's going crazy as it is.
In a statement, Monmouth County Sheriff Sean Golden said in part the FAA's lack of transparency regarding the nature of the operation heightened alarm and created unnecessary anxiety in the community. It led to a waste of taxpayer resources to track and chase down suspicious reports. In Ocean County, sheriff's officers were on drone patrol after a bump in sightings across the state. Tonight, News 12 New Jersey viewers took to social media with reaction to the White House's explanation, with most people wanting to know more about the research that was greenlit by the FAA. Also reacting tonight, Congressman Tom Kean Jr., who said in part, "I believe there are still many unanswered questions. Thousands of my constituents contacted my office to share their apprehensions. The presence of these drones posed serious concerns for our communities, airspace security, law enforcement, and overall safety." Reports of drone sightings started in Morris County, then made their way south. Tonight, some are simply relieved to have an answer.
I think that's really great that there's no threat to the United States or anything like that. I mean, I think that's awesome news. Nothing crazy going on.
Naomi Yane, News 12 New Jersey.
Have you gotten a high energy bill lately? This next story is for you. A post on Nextdoor app shows over 50 comments of Bronxites worried about how they're going to pay their Con Edison bills. Last October, the energy company warned customers to expect increases all the way through March. News 12's Noah Lilly, she's looking into it.
Why is my bill so high?
Wallace Jean's jaw hit the floor when he saw his latest energy bill.
$691.
The Bronx homeowner lives in Classen Point and even got solar panels to try to keep his bill low. He was out of town for over a month when he got this charge.
I've been gone for a month, so usually my bill averages with solar panels around this time, $100, $300 at the most. Like, this is crazy because nobody's in the house. Everything was turned off.
Now, I took a look at Wallace's bill from the last month. It was only $105. Compare that to the recent one he got, $691. So it went up by like, what, $500? Now, if you take a closer look, it seems like most of the charges are coming from his delivery. But what exactly does that mean? Delivery charges are what Con Ed says it costs to use its lines to deliver electricity or gas to your home. I called Con Ed for an interview, but instead they referred me to online resources.
People just keep getting hit with bills and there's like no course of action to take.
Now, I've been through this myself, and here's what I tried. Request an inspector to make sure your meter is being read correctly. Sign up for a payment plan or contact your local elected official.
A lot of money.
Not the most satisfying options, but leaders like Congressman Richie Torres and Attorney General Letitia James have called for Con Ed to lower its delivery charges as New Yorkers struggle to make ends meet, all while in freezing temperatures. If you've had a similar problem, send me an email. In Classen Point, Noelle Lilly, News 12 The Bronx. A terrifying attack on an MTA bus in East Tremont. Police say a woman was assaulted after someone threw some sort of liquid on her, causing quite a bit of panic. News 12's Edric Robinson is on the scene and has all of those details. Edric, you've been working this scene all day long. What can you tell us about what happened on this bus?
Hi there, Noel. A horrific situation unfolded right here on East Tremont and 3rd Avenue. Aboard the BX-15 bus, which stops just here behind me, there was a scene of chaos and fear. Here's what we know so far. This happened around 10:30 this morning. Shortly after we arrived here, we saw a woman escorted off that bus with her in hand. She told us she was attacked by a man on the bus. She said the man had a knife and threw some kind of liquid on her as she rode with 3 children. Now officers arrived and escorted the woman and her children to safety. The bus was taken out of service and there was an ambulance standing by. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. The suspect ran off, leaving many commuters here a bit shaken.
Oh, wow, it sounds crazy.
It's scary. I feel threatened, yeah.
That's why I ain't been in the train for a long time, because I'm scared of the train. Because things happen on the train, but...
And now you're hearing this happen on the bus.
It sounds scary.
And for now, things in this area have returned to normal. Buses are on schedule. A source close to the NYPD tells us they believe this was an isolated incident, but if you have any information about this attack, you're asked to call the police. In East Tremont, Edric Robinson, News 12 The Bronx.
Welcome to News 12 Brooklyn, where local matters. I'm Nadia Galindo. We start with breaking news out of Williamsburg, where an overnight 4-alarm fire leaves 4 people hurt and 10 families displaced tonight. News 12's Karina Gary is on Graham Avenue with the very latest.
Walking along Graham and Metropolitan Ave, you can't help but to stop and stare as debris and glass litters the ground.
Really is tough to see. It's been a long time since something this devastating's happened in the neighborhood.
Those who hoped to enter the subway from this Graham Ave entrance were stopped by pieces of caution tape, siding, and metal that broke off from the building. According to FDNY, it was around 10:30 last night when the fire started. The 4-alarm fire burning for more than 3 hours as nearly 200 emergency personnel worked to battle the blaze. FDNY says 4 people were left with minor injuries, including 3 firefighters. The severe damage done to the buildings is evident to locals.
Prominent corner to be right next to the subway. It's across from the grocery store, so it's a lot of traffic here. These are, sweet and important local businesses. It's sad.
The 3 buildings destroyed were multi-use. They housed 2 restaurants, a beloved local pharmacy, and dozens of residents.
This is our subway stop. This is our pharmacist. My daughter, my wife, had lunch right here at Mr. Sushi yesterday, and I don't think it's going to reopen.
The city's Department of Buildings issuing vacate orders for all 3 buildings as fire and smoke damage left them unlivable. At this time, a cause for the fire has not been determined. We'll make sure to keep you updated as more information becomes available. In Williamsburg, Karina Gary, News 12 Brooklyn.
It will be a long road to recovery. Karina,